Access is a design requirement. Hello, my name is Rebecca Mushtare, and I'm an associate professor at the State University of New York at Oswego. The assumption we generally make when we think about devices, TVs, desktops, laptops, tablets, and smartwatches, is that the people using them, designers and end users, are non-disabled, even though 1 in 4 adults in the U.S. lives with a disability. This is why we need to explicitly make access a design requirement. In 2006, the United Nations held a convention on the rights of persons with disabilities, where it was confirmed that accessibility is a human right. Recent case law in the U.S. also establishes that digital accessibility is legally protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act. I'm interested in helping emerging designers develop a process that embraces access as a human right and reflects the range of human sensory ability, cognition, and mental health, and the unstable nature of ability that shifts with time and context. Because disability is a subject that often is not included in design discourse, I implemented a simulated client project in my introductory web design course that takes place in a fairy tale universe that uses 3 children's books as ethnographies, including The 3 Little Pigs, The True Story of the 3 Little Pigs, and There's a Wolf at the Door. The fictional nature of the project encouraged deep conversations about ability, class, race, stereotypes, and inclusion. Although accessibility was a requirement for this assignment, it was embedded in other criteria like user experience. Ultimately, the implementation of accessibility features was somewhat limited. This led to a 3-semester research study attempting to answer the question, how do we motivate students to value access and inclusion? The study ultimately included 4 sections of my introductory web design course and 78 participants. I implemented 3 curricular interventions for the study. First, I made accessibility an explicit evaluation criteria for all exercises and projects, including language like design must meet or exceed the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, 2.1 AA standard. On each assignment or exercise, I connected each concept we were learning, like typography, to specific guidelines and provided tips on testing the accessibility of the choices the students had made. I also adopted RGD's Accessibility, a practical handbook on accessible graphic design, as the textbook for the course. I complemented the text with videos demonstrating how people with disabilities use assistive technology and accessibility features. Finally, I also incorporated an ungraded accessibility audit assignment of existing websites that we completed as a class. This past fall, we evaluated all of the Democratic presidential candidates' campaign websites. Seeing accessibility in these contexts helped bring access issues alive for students. One measure I used in the study was the mean score of 8 Likert questions in pre-course and post-course surveys provided by Teach Access as part of a Curricular Intervention grant that I had received. The questions I used focused on student confidence levels related to digital access and disability. Analysis of survey data using a mix of t-tests, ANOVA, and post-hoc tests indicated statistically significant improvements between pre- and post-course surveys. The mean of the pre-course surveys across all 3 semesters was 2.823 out of 5, and the post-course survey score was 4.238, a 28% improvement on average. Larger gains were seen in spring of 2019 when I introduced technical exercises to build coding confidence and a short 1-week collaborative challenge that allowed team members to learn to work together prior to the final project. There's no way to know if this caused the difference, but anecdotally, students noted they really liked the opportunity to practice working together on a low-stakes activity. The second measure I used in the study was accessibility audits of final projects completed for introductory web design course from spring of 2018. That's the semester prior to my interventions, through the fall of 2019, using 24 criteria based on relevant WCAG 2.1 guidelines. In fall of 2019, a number of sites scored above 90%, which had never happened in prior semesters. This improvement coincided with a pedagogical experiment with mastery grading and iterative feedback specifically related to accessibility. Faculty wanting to increase accessible design practices in the field should consider making accessibility an explicit and graded requirement. Introduce accessibility guidelines as they connect to stages of a project or design decisions that students are grappling with. Model accessibility audits on student work as part of the critique process, and provide opportunities to team build and work through technical issues prior to a project to minimize distractions from the design requirements. These strategies can and do work in non-web courses too. I've been teaching accessibility concepts in our capstone and other courses. I hope you'll join me by making accessibility a design requirement on future projects. Thank you.